fun thing. Yes, you're exactly right, and determined for change and hold their feet to the fire so we have changes.
We are their boss.
They are our employees. They work for us. They are not over us. It is not like their little group versus the littles. You know, we're not the little people. And they don't know that. And I know these guys, and I've worked with these guys, and they've sent me excuses after excuses by email. And it's not fun. And I hate having to talk about them all the time, but these elected officials should know better, they should do better, and you need to get them ejected. Now. Now.
You know, most of what we hear in radio, television, and social media is designed to elicit emotional responses that do not contain critical thought. The lack of integrity in our elections is due to apathy, ignorance, and a studied, well-practiced manipulation by our government. This is the reason for the Kate Daly radio show.
Amen.
As difficult as it can be to try and educate our friends, neighbors, and our loved ones, we must. They may not be able to see the pain the future may bring, but those of us with the courage and of our convictions who believe in the principles of good, honorable, God-fearing people in this place and time for a reason, we can make a difference. We must continue to speak out loudly and firmly. God bless you all for being here.
Right.
And may God bless the United States of America.
Yeah. Amen to that. I also wanted to mention two things. This isn't just because you like the candidate or don't like the candidate. It has nothing to do with that. What this is there's two pieces of evidence. Number one, all the counties in the country are having these amazing, never before seen turnouts, and it's not real. We have 50% voter turnout, 100% voter turnout in Arizona. When in your lifetime did 100% of registered voters ever come out? When did 50% come out? In Trump years and election years where there's president candidates, that's when you get the most people. So it's once every 4 years, right? Then everybody gets concerned. And it's about 25, 26% when Trump was running 2016. And now they're trying to say in the race for Willie Billings that it was 50%.
Which actually isn't that bad. If you live someplace where it's 120%, you're really in trouble.
So, that's true. And so the other one was when they did a recount of 1,000, Willie was in the lead at 60%. Yeah, he won. There's no doubt in my mind. In fact, I would wager on it. I absolutely know that he won that race. But they wanted Joe in because I think Joe would do the bidding a little bit more for the college and the state. And they wanted a Brad Last replacement. And you know what? There's something so wrong with this. And then the commissioners sent this willy-nilly little dumb little feckless letter as some sort of sign that we're supposed to take, I guess, as them doing something because of this event. And all they did was write a letter. That's not enough. Do you know what that is? That's just pandering.
They threw us a bone.
Yeah, they threw us a bone. Yeah, you're right. And so what are we going to do about that? And they sat there in the meeting and they said, they hate us. Well, you know what? You're not going to do your job. Yeah. You get a lot of angry citizens showing up that are very determined to say, stop it. But there were two evidences there that should be looked in. That 50% turnout did not happen, and you know it. You know it. Because it never happens in history. Not even close. There's no way we doubled that in a non-presidential year. So there's something very wrong. That alone should have been a reason that they actually looked into all of this, right? And they never even mentioned it It was like they had this terrific turnout. You would think that you'd have like front page, oh my gosh, biggest voter turnout in history. No, because they know something's wrong. They know, yeah. So here we are. We have pieces of evidence they can't ignore. And that's why we're holding their feet to the fire, is because they can't put their heads in the sand. It's too obvious now. The steals are too obvious. And if we don't do something now, we lose it all together. Completely, it's gone. Thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you. Go to KateDalleyRadio.com and you can catch the show on 93.1, 1450 AM, and then of course KateDalleyRadio.com, and we have a coin you can get. You can help Truth in Radio. It's a silver coin, so it puts a little money back in your pocket. Really appreciate you guys. We could not do this show without you, and this is our show. This is our show.
So, if everyone can read my shirt, Orange Man Good. And we truly believe that, right? And we're experiencing what bad men can do. I attended January 6th and I needed a shirt. I needed a one of a kind. And so a friend made this shirt for me, and I attended January 6th. And every single person asked me, why did you not bring hundreds of those to sell? So I just want you to know that there are shirts out there and you can buy one of these. And also on our website, tworedpills.org. Sorry, my mind.
Okay, so I'm super excited to show you what I'm wearing. It's new. Are you ready? Cox put the fairy in the fairies. Yes, he did.
That was like 100% Ben free child. I'm not sorry.
But anyway, my goodness, what he's done, we can't quit talking about it. It's horrific to us. But we need to remind people that this attack that's going on in our countries, with our liberties, and with our children, it's a spiritual battle. 100% political is a symptom of a spiritual problem. We have forgotten God. And this is the price we pay. We've been warned for decades, thousands of years, ancient records exist, telling us not to fall in the same trap that we have fallen in so many times before. And guess what? We took it lightly. And here we are. But God has promised us, and I'm sorry, if you're going to hand me a microphone, you're going to hear the word God said it every single time. Probably 10 times. 24. Because we work for God. All of us should be working for God. This is His world, His creation, His plan. And we all have a part we can play in that. But this spiritual battle it's so important to realize that He always provides a way out. And He tells us that if the people of this land will just worship and serve the God of this land, who is Jesus Christ, He will stay in judgments. And I believe it. We've got to return to Him in this problem. We've got to get this fairy out of office. So the next person we want to introduce for you is somebody that we have absolute respect for. He is somebody who has fought the fight, not just politically, not just at loss to what he has come on personally, right? But he also fights the spiritual battle.
Yes, and when the scandemic hit, I was out of my mind with what they were doing to our children, with the muzzling. And I looked around, and of course I live in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? I live in Salt Lake County at the time. And so I shouldn't have been that surprised. But I looked around, and there was not one parent standing up to the medical tyranny imposed on their children. And I did not know what to do, and I knew I had to do something. I feel so blessed and grateful for Eric Nixos, who stood up.
I just wanted to be right here.
He lit a fire for me personally, I'm sure for many, many of you. He lit a fire that we have to stand up, and it is our duty to stand up. And we are just so appreciative. Everything.
All right, take care.
So
So do you guys want to hear a song? Can you guys give it up for Jen and Sophie? They have put it on the line. I don't know if you guys have been following them, but they have risen up and they have taken arrows and they have taken stones because they're just simply questioning a few things. Why can't we question about this whole election? Why can't we do it? And so the question is, before I sing the song, have you guys, you don't need to say anything, but have you felt alone in the last couple of years a few times? And so this is, I've been working on it, okay? So I have somebody in the back here just in case I forget a few lines. Am I the only one here tonight, shaking my head, thinking something ain't right? Is it just me? Am I losing my mind? Am I standing on the edge of the end of time? Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not. Thinks that taking all the good we've got and turn it back. Hell, I'm damned. I think I'm turning into my old man. Am I the only one willing to bleed? Take a bullet for being free. Screaming what the hell is my TV for telling me. Am I the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue? Burning on the ground, another statue coming down and telling me, watching the threads of old glory come undone. Am I the only one? Am I the only one not brainwashed, making my way to the land of the lost? Sees it as it is, worries about his kids as they try to undo the things he did. Am I the only one can't take no more saying you don't like it? Well, there's the door. This ain't the freedom we've been fighting for. It was something more. It was something more. Am I the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue? Burning on the ground, another statue coming down and it's telling me, watching the thread of old glory come undone. I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. So have you guys? So have you guys felt alone in the last couple of years? And it really bothered me because when this whole thing happened, I got a phone call. So I don't know if you guys know my backstory, but I used to be a police officer with Salt Lake City Police. And I got a phone call from one of my friends that's a police officer in Salt Lake City, and he said, Eric, they set up a snitch line. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but you could call the police if you're not social distancing in Salt Lake City. And so neighbors were calling on their neighbors, and my buddies that were still in the police department are now going and telling neighbors to get away from each other. and it lit a fire inside of me, and so much